Hey everyone, welcome back to another Merly on Time. Really excited to be showing you this watch today. It is a micro brand watch from the United States. It's absolutely fantastic. As soon as I seen it on Instagram, I really wanted it, and I am so excited to be showing it to you today, and thankful to Adam from Farr and Swit who enabled me to get this watch at a discount so I could review it. And this is the exact watch that will be given away for my 750 subscriber giveaway. You can see based on today's subscriber count that we're 23 people away from that 750 mark. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. And we will be giving one of these watches away. And so we're going to begin with an up-close personal look at this watch, and then I'll talk to you about the things that I absolutely love about this watch. There are a couple of minor things that I want to address as far as potential negatives, but outside of those minor things, I think this watch is absolutely amazing, which is why I really wanted to include it in one of the giveaways. And so again, thanks to Adam from Farr and Swit for helping me out to do that. And with all of that out of the way, let's get a look at this watch together. Check this out. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the up close and personal. Just before we start talking about this Wayfinder by Farr and Swit, I have to show you what I am rocking on my wrist today. And you can see that I have the San Martin homage to a Tudor Heritage Black Bay chronograph. This watch will be reviewed next week on my channel, and I'll be comparing it to a Pagani design, asking the question, is the San Martin worth the extra $300 that you pay over a Pagani design homage watch? So stay tuned for that next week. But we're here to talk about this Wayfinder by Farr and Swit. Now you can see that I have 4 bands to go with the watch. On the wrist check at the end of the video, I will show them all. The watch came with these 2 bands right here, and they are both military style NATO bands. And so we have a Navy military style elastic band, parachute elastic, and I must say the elasticity that this provides enables you to get a super comfortable and snug fit to the watch on your wrist. And you also have the military style seat belt NATO strap. And I do have to say, even though this blue one is the most comfortable of the 2, I think the gray one that it comes with looks much nicer. And both of these bands that are supplied come with the Farr and Swit branding on the keeper there, which is fantastic. Now when I saw the watch on Instagram, I saw it paired with an orange strap, I believe quite similar to this one. And I have to say, as soon as I saw it on Instagram on this orange strap, I had to get myself one of these watches. And I want to give a shout out again to Watch Wit and his channel for highlighting the Aliexpress store where you can pick these FKM rubber straps on, and I'll leave a link to both in the description of the video. Very inexpensive and very nice bands that you can get there. So when I saw the watch on Instagram on this kind of strap, it was a must-have watch for me. I absolutely love the look, feel, and design of this watch. So much so that for my 750 subscriber giveaway, as mentioned earlier, we will be giving one of these Wayfinders away. So let's talk specifications for a moment. This watch is 42 millimeters from the 2 o'clock to the 8 o'clock. That's the case diameter. When you factor in the crown from the 9 to the 3, you're looking at 47.3 millimeters. Has a thickness of 12.5 millimeters. The crown is 6.3 millimeters. You have a lug-to-lug length of 50.5 millimeters, and you have a lug width of 22 millimeters at the bands. So what else to say about the specs? Well, you have an AR-coated sapphire crystal covering the dial. The watch is rated at 100 meters of water resistance. The watch head is entirely made of 316L stainless steel. You have a 120 click unidirectional bezel, and it appears to me to be an aluminum bezel. Perhaps, Adam, if you're watching, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, as that detail isn't available on the website. And the bezel action on this watch is absolutely fantastic. So have a listen to it now. Really wonderful. The easy to turn, very distinct clicks on the bezel. Absolutely wonderful to turn, and you can see there's some knurling on the bezel for ease of grip, and everything on this bezel lines up perfectly. I didn't quite line it up the first time around, so let's just get it back. And you can see it lines up absolutely perfectly. And I have to be honest, of the watches that I have had the opportunity to review on the channel, the bezel action on this one is one of the very best. It is very, very good. Very distinct clicks, easy to turn, very wonderfully done. The crown on the watch is also honestly one of the best I've seen with respect to the threading and unthreading of the crown. It is super silky smooth, and you see the knurling on the crown as well. Easy to grip. The crown guards are properly proportioned to this crown. It's just well done. And so we're going to push it in and start that movement, and you can see that it is a quartz movement, but the movement in this watch is utilizing the Seiko VH31 sweeping quartz movement. So you can see that it is moving along at 4 ticks per second as it sweeps around the dial. And I did check, it is landing perfectly on the minute marks on the dial every 4th tick. The movement itself has a 2-year battery life and a stated accuracy, from what I've seen on internet research, of plus or minus 15 seconds per month. So let's talk about the finishing on this watch. The finishing on the case is all brushed. There's no high polish on the case on this one at all, which I think suits the sporty look and feel that this watch is going for. And I must say that the standard of finish on the watch is quite good. So you can see along the side of the case that we have some horizontal brushing happening there. As you move to the top of the lugs, it follows the shape of the dial. So you've got some circular brushing at the top of the lugs. Transitions again to some vertical brushing on this side profile as well. As you turn the watch over, you can see this really nice case back. The circular brushing continues on the underside of those lugs, as well as just outside of the screw down case back. There's some circular brushing going around that as well. The case back, very beautiful design on it. Some nice engraving on it with the Wayfinder model and Farr and Swit brand on it. And on the case back, it has the same topographical design that you will find on the dial, those wavy lines that are going around the star on that. Now, speaking of the dial, in my opinion, is absolutely the star of the show. I love the vibrant colors, beginning with the minute track that is printed on the outside of the dial with the color kind of yellowy orangey color, and that color matches quite nicely the filling that you find inside the hour and the minute hand, and as well as the lollipop on the sweeping quartz second hand. Those are applied batons that you see at every 5-minute mark, and they are complemented as we move further into the dial with numerals printed in blue at every even hour marker. And so you have the 12, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And again, the blue color there, if it's not a perfect match, it is darn close to a perfect match with the bezel color and the outline of the hour and the minute hand. You see the Farr and Swit brand is printed at the 12, and the model Wayfinder printed above the 6. And the inner part of the dial, let's just zoom in on it, as we saw that on the case back, has this beautiful topographical map printed on it. So the lines weave in and out, just gives it a really nice look and appeal to the dial, in my opinion. Everything on the dial is fully loomed, as you saw in the up close and personal, using a combination of C3 blue grade, C3 green grade, and BWG9 loom. It really is a fantastic loomed watch. So there is much to love about this watch, but no watch is perfect, and this one certainly falls under that category. So the first thing I want to note is the underside of the lugs. Now, this wasn't really noticeable when it is worn on the NATO military style straps that are provided with the watch. So you can't really tell this with wearing the supplied bands, but when I switched it over to this FKM rubber, there is a little bit of sharpness to those lugs, something that you can feel while wearing it on a band like this. And you can see the downturn of those lugs, and we'll talk about that in a second, does come past the band there a little bit. So you can feel it on the wrist. It's not uncomfortable, but I would have liked to have seen the edges smoothed out a little bit nicer here. And also, as we talk about that downturn of the lugs, I think for smaller wrists, the downturn of these lugs is absolutely going to be fantastic. But I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and what I wonder, it fits very comfortably on my wrist, but once you get bigger than a 7.5-inch wrist, it may not conform to your wrist as well. I think for larger wrists, would have been nicer for the angle on that downturn to be a little less steep than it is, because I think it will be noticeable on a larger wrist. It really conforms nicely to my 7.5-inch wrist, but as I said, once you get a little bit bigger, I think if these were just a little bit less steep, it would have been a little bit better, although for smaller wrists, that downturn is certainly going to be a plus. One thing I would like to see on any reissue of the watch, unfortunately, this particular color and model is sold out. Now, I am giving one of these away, so you're going to want to be a part of that if this is a watch that you want to get, because we will be giving one of these away. But one thing I would like to see on the reissue of the watch is the loom being applied to the hour and the minute hand. I did notice when not fully charged, it can be difficult to see the hour and minute hand, even though the rest of the dial is visible, which I hope you can see with the time lapse of the loom, which I will show you now. All right, we'll charge up this, and you can see that immediately upon a full charge, this is providing incredible loom. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You have a fully loomed bezel, which is nice, but I do wish that they had have applied loom to the hour and minute hand, because you will see that as I scroll forward in the time-lapse video, the 5-minute markers at the batons are going to stay loomed. The dial is going to start to lose loom, and as the dial starts to lose loom, the hands become very difficult to read. You can see that now. So you have the pip loom still and the minute markers loom still, but now the hands cannot be seen because they're not loomed. And so on a reissue, I hope that they will put loom on that hour and minute hand. The other minor grievance I have about this watch is the price. The watch retails at $399 US, which in my opinion is just a tad bit too high. For comparison, I received a watch from a company called Draco London, relatively new micro brand company, and they sent me this watch, which is their Awakening chronograph, which does have a Seiko VK Mecha Quartz movement in it. And the watch itself is very well made, just as this Farr and Swit watch is very well made. But the price for that watch is 250 Great British pounds, which equates to, in today's currency, $339 US. Both these watches from relatively new micro brands, both made well. I do think the Draco London watch is priced a little more reasonably than what Farr and Swit is offering with this one in comparison. So let me do the wrist check with all of these bands on it, and then we'll close out the video. Here it is on that FKM orange rubber, and it is gorgeous. Absolutely love this thing. You can see what I mean about the downturn of those lugs there. For larger wrists, it could pose a problem, but absolutely stunning on this orange FKM rubber. And here it is on the supplied Navy military style parachute elastic, and this is super comfortable. The elastic allowing it to stretch and breathe, absolutely amazing, really comfortable. And last but certainly not least, here it is on the gray seatbelt military style strap. Absolutely looks fantastic. Hot diggity, woo! So that is the Wayfinder Sweeping Quartz by Farr and Swit. I want to thank Adam once again for giving me a discounted rate for this watch so that I could get it into the channel for review. More importantly, that I could have it to wear. It is absolutely awesome. I absolutely love this watch, so much so that, again, once we reach 750 subscribers, we're not that far from that now, I will be giving away one of these watches in collaboration with Adam at Farr and Swit. And so, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so, and you'll get a chance to win one of these because they're out of stock now. And this is the only way that you're going to be able to get one once we give one away. So thank you for considering subscribing and supporting the channel. Thank you even more for leaving a comment below. I love interacting with all of you that comment on the videos and let me know what you think of this watch. And as always, remember, whenever you leave your house, you must have a great looking piece to wear on your wrist, like this Farr and Swit Wayfinder. And remember, wherever you're going, you need to get there on time. Thanks so much for checking the channel out, the video out. God bless you. Watch this video if you want. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.